What's up, YouTube? F.I.S.T, the game acronym for Forged in Shadow Torch, is a metroidvania set in a steampunk world populated by androids and furries. Yes, you heard that right. The good guys in this game have the official name of Fistin, an amalgamation of furry and citizen. So let's see how good or bad this game is, and let's get furry. So we start off by seeing a saucy minx stealing this important looking shard from some evil looking drones. Oh, sorry, she's a sexy cat, not a minx. Apparently, there was a war between the robotic iron dogs and the Furtisans, with the Furtisans using tech like power armor, but they ended up losing the war, and the Iron Dogs have been able to take over the last remaining Furtisan city. Our main character is clearly having a bad hair day.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Our friend the bear has managed to fix our mech suit's primary weapon, the fist. And of course, it soon becomes time to leap into action. We get our fist and get introduced to the combat. Some simple combos, air launches, basic combat stuff. The air dash also comes base kit, so we are already decently mobile. And we can also get the wall jump as our first practically immediate upgrade, and there are definitely areas designed around it. After learning that we can't bust our bear buddy out of jail without a special drill, we help another Furtisan who gives us our Estus flask, carrot juice. Yeah, this game gives us 4 sub-weapons, although they're more like tools, but they all require using EP, and because this is tied to healing and battle, this automatically makes all of the other tools kinda useless, or otherwise worse to use, because their use implicitly takes away a potential heal. But then the game does something right, as the next upgrade we get is the double jump. Yeah, that's right, the double jump. And man, does it feel good to use and abuse. We then get to meet the first boss, Feral. He's pretty easy, especially now that we have the double jump. We also get introduced to the idea of strong attacks that require another gauge to use. The difference here is that this blue gauge fills up through combat, so you almost always want to be down a move. That way you can be refilling thanks to the fight. Shortly after, we get the next tool, the counter baton.
Counter-Strike, come on, give it your all.
This thing honestly sucks. It costs precious EP to use, and while it also refills 1 bar of SP, it's not worth sacrificing a bar of EP, which we could use to heal instead. So we make our way down to fight the evil triangle robot, and once that thing turns to rust, we can get our next primary weapon, the drill. Here we're introduced to the drill that acts like a fan, and expand our combat options where at the push of a button we can alternate between the drill and the fist. The drill also lets us glide. Making our way through the base, we see our brother-in-arms, Cicero, who was thought to be dead, has sided with the Iron Dogs. We then get thrown in jail and stripped of all of our gear. The sexy cat busts us out, and then we have a stealth section since we can't fight. Along the way, we can pick up another sub-weapon, the missile launcher. This thing sucks, and it's only helpful here when we have literally nothing else. We find our gear along with some keys and free all of the imprisoned Furtisans here. And the area boss, Voltage, is just a pain. He's not exactly hard, just annoying. After escaping, we get harassed by some filthy rats who are like a stand-in for a noir-style mafia gang. We cut a deal and then have two objectives, both of which take us to places with annoying underwater sections. The drill can help us move faster underwater, but these sections are still annoying. I hope we get a rebreather or something soon. Up next is the tank boss, who is just annoying. It's one of those bosses where everything it does covers or hides its weak spot, and the constant minion spawns just make it even more tedious. The next boss is also a repeat, basically just a duo fight of the first boss. Once they go down, and we can make our way up towards the next objective, we can unlock the next ability, the Omni Dash, that lets us dash in any direction, which is mostly used to go diagonally upwards towards another location. Then we come face to face with one of the many ninja frog fights. The frog would be cooler if he wasn't reused so much. And in the next area, we unlock another upgrade that makes the counter baton even more of a waste. The parry upgrade, which has one of the most annoying control schemes ever. You have to press either left or right as you're facing the attack, right as it hits. Why in the hell is it tied to movement and not a button? Not only is the timing tight, but because it's tied to movement, even attempting parries are incredibly risky, as if you mess up, it means that you're walking into the attack. I really want to know whose idea this was, and who also had to approve this decision. And I hope they're unemployed now. I mean, hell, even Nintendo got it right with the 3DS remake of Metroid 2 Samus Returns, where the counter window is very tight but is properly mapped to a button. And to make matters worse, another boss fight with that stupid ass tank wraps the area up. We run the deputy off, which is a kind of funny scene. After we get the data, we get sent to the Furry outpost in the mountains. We have to platform our way through the secret mine shaft that is filled to the brim with booby traps. We then have to rescue some Furtisans from another mine, protecting them from some spark monsters. The spark is this MacGuffin crystal that apparently has great power that both the Iron Dogs and Furtisans can use to amplify themselves. Deep in the mines, we also get the final weapon of the trio, the Electro Whip. The range is nice, but the damage is kinda low. However, there's also some special AoE attacks, and the whip ended up being my favorite weapon overall. So we take down the hand monster here and get a spark crystal. The whip also lets us use some grapple points to launch ourselves. Of course, once we leave the mines, the iron dogs try to siege the winter town to get the spark. So we fight our way through the army, fighting an annoying samurai boss, and make our way back to the city. The mafia head insists on seeing the spark himself, and, of course, steals it, puts it in a crazy mech suit, and proceeds to boss fight us. There's just one major design flaw with his suit.
This body you designed is self-congratulatory garbage! See, I know a thing or two about building a body out of biomass, and you don't! Leave your heart exposed!
Yeah, the rat didn't even try to properly protect himself. The boss fight ends in a dumb way too. He blows himself and the spark up when we're not even remotely close to him. And the sexy cat tells us that there's another in the next area, but because it's most likely underwater, our bear buddy tells us to go recover his rebreather so that we can fully explore down there. I did take a detour here to do one of the most annoying trophies in this game, mastering the training courses. These courses require you to execute certain combo routes, and sometimes while switching weapons. Sometimes these combos just break on their own. Sometimes there's a delay when switching weapons that breaks the combo. Sometimes hits just don't register. This trophy was possibly one of the most annoying and difficult, due to the game's own problems and consistent inconsistency issues of the combos. Onto the underwater section. There's an annoying glitch where one of the doors in this area just won't open, and you have to save and quit to reload the whole game to get it to open. Some people even say that you need to uninstall and reinstall the game just to get this one door open. How is this still an issue years after launch? We run into the deputy robot again and have him run off. And then we take down an annoying axe boss who likes to duck out and shoot lasers at us with a robot squid thing. Once he goes down, we can get the rebreather and don't have to worry about drowning anymore. And during the lengthy escape from this area, I had a glitch where an area just wouldn't load in properly. I'm not even sure what happened here. Just look at it. And during the next section, we get an ability that is only useful underwater, the underwater charge. It's really lame. And the boss is a giant robot centipede thing that's pretty easy to take out. Once it goes down, the spark key is ours. We can then head into an ancient ruin where we mainly have to deal with puzzles with a few enemies sprinkled here and there. The upgrade here is a dash upgrade that makes us intangible during the dash, so that we can dash through enemies and hazards. Of course, at the end here, Cicero has to steal the spark, kill the sexy cat, and then we get into an annoyingly long chase sequence that just feels like complete bullshit. Sometimes you'll just die for no reason. Sometimes you'll get hit even when nothing is nearby. And worst of all, there's no checkpoints. With this, we've gotten everything we need to confront Cicero. We climb an arduously long tower, fight a very annoying sumo boss, who's not that hard, just really tanky, and then get our bear buddy to shoot us out of a cannon to get to the final area. We climb ever higher and get into the final fight against Cicero. Cicero is a huge pain. He takes forever to go down, and has several attacks that have to be dodged and the most specific way to avoid the damage. But after a long time, Cicero goes down, and the game just kinda ends. The Stark may be destroyed, Cicero is toast, and yeah, nothing gets resolved. It just ends. And then it's on to the cleanup for the platinum. This was pretty painful, trying to get 100% for every map, collect every seed, every poster, every tool, complete every minigame area. And this is a pretty big problem. Sometimes hidden stuff shows up on the map, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to jump in a super weird way to fill out a section of the map that has nothing there. And to max out the upgrades, you're going to need a ton of money. The most annoying of this is that the game's super move is locked behind a side quest. There are 4 shards that you need to collect. 3 are mostly easy to get, but the 4th is unlocked through spending money at the noodle stand. The sign out front of the stand says that periodically there will be new dishes. This is a blatant fucking lie. The shop only updates the menu after you have eaten the same dish 3 times. This isn't explained anywhere, and is a huge money sink. The final dish has the last shard, though, and the super move really isn't worth it. The cleanup is a huge pain. Then there's also some annoying miscellaneous trophies, like throwing 20 airborne enemies into each other. You can't throw one into a grounded enemy. It has to be airborne to airborne. The final sub-tool is a dummy that draws enemy aggro and explodes, which has a trophy for taking out 3 enemies with a single explosion, which fucking sucks. There's a trophy for executing 2 enemies while airborne, which I got on the way to Cicero, but could potentially be very annoying. There's a funny trophy for chugging 4 heals in a row that makes us turn into a fat bunny. And yeah, that's basically F.I.S.T. This game looked cool, had some decent combat, and a mildly interesting story. The game even gives you the right upgrades at the right times for the most part. But the game itself is a slog of a metroidvania. There's a kind of few enemy variety, several mini-bosses are reused, with some even becoming standard enemies. The fact that the sub-weapons mean using up your heals makes them all significantly more useless. The barrel minigame is just bullshit, and the endgame grind to get enough money for the last shard and all the upgrades is just a pain. The super move feels too weak to have been useful. Doing multi-weapon combos has a weird delay that breaks the best combos the game tried to teach us. The parry counter being tied to movement is just asinine. And the ending is anticlimactic and doesn't really resolve anything. Unless they meant to say that both hares ended up dying and that's why it ends abruptly, which is still dumb. The game kinda soured me with its issues and bugs too. Overall, the game needs better polish and has some fundamental flaws that the developers clearly have no intention of fixing. For the ranking, the Platinum is a 4.5 out of 10, due to the annoyances of the endgame grime, the weird combat trophies, the stupid training sessions, and the barrel minigame just being complete slogs. As for the patented Dan the Ranking Man scale, the game is a 58 out of 100. It is easily below average and needed a lot more polish to stand out. As it is now, it's just a furry steampunk metroidvania. I wouldn't waste your time on it. So, like and subscribe. The final game on the chopping block is Odin Sphere Leifdrancer. And remember, only losers won't admit that Lady Q, the sexy cat, is sexier than Lola Bunny.